Hey folks, so I'm going to talk a little bit about small talk. I know this can be very hard for introverts sometimes. I'm just going to explain my experience with learning how to small talk, and maybe it can help. I think sometimes introverts, they want to they don't feel like they have anything to say unless it's maybe something meaningful. And small talk is pretty much the exact opposite of that. So sometimes I noticed in the past when I would be in a group is my mind would be blank and I would have nothing to say, and then I would just end up just standing there looking at people, because my mind wasn't quick enough. The trick with small talk is to get your mouth moving before your mind has something to think of. It's like you have to kind of understand how to speak in a kind of autopilot type way, which I don't know how to explain that exactly, but I'll try. Rather than thinking before speaking and trying to say something meaningful, what you got to do is you just got to speak before you think. I know that sounds crazy to some of us introverts, but you just got to speak, and you just got to trust that what you say is going to be okay. And it may take some practice, if it helps if you have a place where there is a group of some kind where conversations happen typically, because then you will get the practice you need. But basically, you have to just get used to a kind of verbal diarrhea of speech, and it's a different way of speaking. It's not thinking before you speak; it's speaking before you think, and you just let that stuff come out of your mouth. You just let the words come out of your mouth. And it doesn't have to be profound, it doesn't have to be deep, or it's just nonsense. Most people, when they're talking, if they're not talking about something serious, they're usually just talking about nonsense. So what you have to do is you have to learn to kind of trust yourself. You just got to learn to trust yourself. That's what it is, because I know before I was able to small talk, I didn't trust that if I just let the words come out of my mouth without thinking about it first, I thought that maybe I was going to say something stupid or make a mistake or something like that. And you just got to get to a place where you can trust yourself to just allow those words to come out without even filtering them, really. But it may take practice, It may take practice. It may feel unnatural at first, but once you get the gist of what it is, it's not difficult. It's really not difficult. It just seems difficult because it's different than, what we're used to. I know, before I was able to do that, I was always a very deep observer. I was always, looking at people, looking at people's expressions, listening to people deeply. And even though all that stuff is good, if you want to be good at small talk, you have to throw it all in the trash or save it for another time, because you just have to be able to just blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter what it is, like the first thing that comes to your mind. I don't know if this helped at all, but that's really the kind of mechanics of it. And when you get used to it, it gets easier. All right. See ya.